It's always nice when you come in and see this right here. That's gonna be a fuel leak. And this is that new fuel bladder that we put in. I think we found the problem though. And it's gonna be, so this is your fuel sending unit that's got the gauge, you know, that goes to your gauge here. Anyways, you can tell it has that blue tinge all the way around it. And if you touch it, it's actually, that's all fuel. So tighten those up, and hopefully that will fix the problem. Because I mean, they were tight, but they went another 1/8 of a turn or something. But I'm going to go ahead and pull this strip, the wing gaps strip here, and then that way I can get all this old fuel cleaned up and off of here. And then I can also verify that that's the only place that it's coming from. And hopefully that'll fix it, because it's a brand new tank with all new seals. So there's zero reason why it should leak. Do that, and then we're gonna have to start taking out the fuel bladder on the left side because it started to leak. So that fuel bladder is like 20 years old or something, so pretty sure that it's gonna have to be replaced. And as y'all see from the video of us changing out this right fuel bladder, they're a pain in the butt. Huge pain to change them out. So that's what we're about to do, is fix this fuel leak and then start taking off that fuel bladder. That's the wing gap panel. Alright, now we can see all that green shadow. Fuel runs all the way down to here, and then the biggest thing we have to do is check all of our connections up in here, make sure it's not running. So we'll do that next. And it could be that too. Your sump drain could be having a little bit of leak to it also. One more thing you can look at is on your wing gap panel, you can tell where the fuel is at, and then you can trace it back. You can kind of tell it actually starts about right here, and I see a little bit on this one too. And then you just look at your holes up here. So you're 1, 2, 2 to 3, which would put you at 1, 2. So that's your second one, and 3 in our fuel gauge is right up in here, or the sending unit is actually right above that. So now you got to get on the inside and look and see if it's running down to here, or if it's actually starting in this spot and going somewhere else. So that's kind of the, I guess, one of the nice things about having the dyed fuel is you can actually trace it back to see where it has been, because it'll leave that green dye everywhere. So now we got to chase that out, and hopefully it's just that sending unit and it'll be done with. But now we got to clean up in there too, so that if it continues to leak, we'll know, hey, it's still leaking, because it'll be clean, and then hopefully it'll stay clean and we won't actually have to go in there and do anything else, because I don't want to even think about the possibility of pulling out that fuel bladder, because it right now has 35 gallons in it, I think. 35 to 38 gallons of fuel in that one side, so we'll have to pull all that out, and it'll just be a nightmare because we already had to pull fuel out from the left side. So anyways, that's it. All right, so now with the wing gap panel pulled, we can see up in here, and I'm hoping you can see that green hue that runs underneath the fuel sending unit. That seems to be, that's the only place that our fuel is coming from. And so you do that, and then we can kind of chase it down all the way down, and I don't see any more on the sidewalls. And I check this coupling here, and I don't have any on it. I did have some on the pump, right? Let's see if I can get this light right there. But it could be old. It doesn't feel wet. So I think the only place that our coming from is going to be the actual sending unit. So hopefully, now that I got them tightened up, that'll have that fixed, and we won't have that problem anymore. So now I'm going to spray the cleaner up in here, and again, we use this is Advanced Auto Parts brand of brake cleaner, and we use it because it doesn't seem to hurt the paint as much. Spraying like fuel leaks and stuff like that, it doesn't seem to actually hurt and take the paint away. So without that, we'll spray some up in there. You can tell it actually cleans it up pretty good. Alright. But again, with any kind of cleaners, you don't want to leave it on your paint long anyways, but just get up in there and clean all that off. And hopefully that'll have it fixed. And also you want to clean this lip off also, because it's gonna be where it all catches. Alright, that looks good and clean. That doesn't have a green tinge to it anymore. So hopefully we're good. And one thing I didn't show in the videos is whenever you're taking this out and putting it back in, when we changed out that fuel bladder, see the marks we left? That's so that we can get this lined up, because if you get it turned off, then your fuel float will be sideways and it won't be registering correctly. It'll be off. It'll be showing depending on which way you have it turned, it'll be showing less or more fuel or less fuel in your tank than you actually have. Which brings us to another point. If you are relying on those fuel gauges to tell you how much fuel you have in your tanks, you're setting yourself up for a disaster, because they're made by man and they can lie to you. Best thing to do is to dip your tanks, and then that'll tell you how much fuel you actually have in it. And then also you can keep a log with how much fuel you put in them. Top them off, and then, you know, after 3 or 4 hour flight or whatever, see how much you put in there, and just keep a log of how much fuel is in there. And then you know, because you don't always need to top off your tanks, because you might only need 40 gallons total, and you need to save that weight, you know, carry baggage or passengers or whatever. So it's not always prudent to fill your tanks up, but you do need to know how much is in each tank, and not rely on the mechanical fuel gauges, because they'll lie to you. And there's been countless pilots out there that have, you know, crashed and died and messed their airplanes up or whatever, just because they didn't keep track of how much fuel they have. And that's something simple. All right, so tightening up the screws on this fuel sending unit did not work. It has a little bit of fuel that's coming out from this screw right here, and so it's just a tad bit of wetness and stuff coming out there. But the you can see on the finger there, I tried tightening this up, that screw up right here, there, and it rotates. So evidently there's another, like a nut on the back side of this, that we're gonna have to tighten. Well, it has about 36 gallons, 38 gallons of fuel in it right now, because I had to move all the fuel from the left wing into it. So now we have to drain it, which is going to be a pain, because we have to take the sump loose and then get it to catch in here. But if you notice, if you go straight down, it hits this. So what we have to do is actually hold a funnel up and catch it all in the funnel and divert it over into the big tank. You can tell I've got a bonding cable on it going into the ground. Ideally you want it to go like 2 or 3 feet, but this ground is so wet it'll discharge any static electricity that's in there. So funnel. All right, got our funnel. And one good thing about that is it has a pump, so when we get ready to put it back in there, we just pump it up. All right. Ideally we would siphon it out, but I don't have another hose, so we'll just sump drain. This time we get all of it out.
have the fuel drain out of the tank, we can actually take this access panel off here, which there's two access panels into your fuel tank, this one and then this one, and these are the only two access panels that you have to put the new fuel bladder in too. So you can tell that I mean, your whole hand fits across it. I mean, they're the same size, but I mean, there's not a whole lot of room in there at all. So we're going to take this off and then be able to see down in there, and our fuel sending unit is right in here, so we'll be able to reach it halfway easy. Where are you going? Alright, so just so you know, these screws right here hold this plate in place. These screws right here actually hold the fuel tank to this plate. So, we'll take these off and get them set out here, like so. And when you go to put the fuel tank, fuel bladder, you know, back up to this, you actually have to have a kind of like a long screw that with no head on it that you can put down through here and actually pull the fuel bladder up. So it's a little bit of a pain in the butt. You can't just screw it in there. So once you do that, it's the fuel bladder will actually drop down away from this. And see, they all just went flush, and I can smell fuel now that we have separated the fuel bladder from this top part. And so now, pull that off, and here's our fuel bladder. See that? That's not supposed to be like that. Interesting. Alright. Want to very carefully take the cork gasket off. Time to go. Well, tell you what, I'll use the other camera. There's our fuel sending unit, and let's see if I can't. I don't know if it's taking or not, but that's it. But we also have to kind of figure out how this is. Could just be. strainers right here. Fuel intake. That's got here. Ooh, there's fuel. Here's where the sump is. Probably see it sticking up. Well, now we got to get down below and pull the fuel sending unit out, and to put it back in, it's going to take 2 people because there's gaskets and stuff like that that's in between the tank, the bulkhead, and the sending unit. So alright, let's see what we can do there. Alright, maybe you have enough light to see, but right here is going to be your electrical connection. This should just loosen right up. The problem is, see how it's just twisting. It's not. It's not just coming loose. So we gotta see if we can just pull the whole sending unit out and then troubleshoot it. Worst case scenario, we'll have to cut the wire and then put a new sending unit in. What I was afraid of. Uh-oh. Nothing worse than dropping a bolt. Takes a little bit of doing to get that thing out of there. Gotta stand on one foot and hold your mouth right. Oh, come on. Then it gets hung up. Then it gets hung up. Alright. Hey. A lot falling down, everything's falling down. Alright. Well, this is our sending unit. That's the part you saw on the outside of the wing. This is the up part. That's where their marks are. And then the float obviously goes up and down like this. And then back, you can't see in that little black hole there, there's some more goodies. Anyways, and that goes into there, and there's no way to get that off there. So I think what I'm going to try to do is use a drill to back it out. Looks like I'm going to have a new sending unit anyways, because this one's When in doubt, cut the wire and put a new end on it. So now, we are going to take it over to the shop and let Tim look at it and get his expert advice. So, hopefully, space lamp. Alright, so that's the status of this. Wonderful stuff.